Hello folks, this is Sheila E from Tennessee and we're going to make some kraut, and I've got about 10 big heads of cabbage, fresh cabbage. I'll let you see this right here. Pap's going to be chopping it for me, so he's cleaned the heads. I want you to see this head here, how he's cleaned it. See how pretty and white and clean that is? And then he's rinsed it off. And now he is chopping it in this big skillet with his butcher knife. And his cousin, Gary Watts, has given me his recipe to make homemade kraut, so we know it's going to be good. So I'll be back with you shortly when he gets this chopped up. Alright, I'm back. While he's chopping the kraut, I'm going to try to make some, this is cornbread muffins, and you all know how I make my cornbread muffins. I use 2 cups of meal, 1 cup of flour, self-rising flour, and that's white lily meal and self-rising white lily flour. So I've got my cornbread ready to go in the oven, and I've got some Great Northern beans over here parboiling. I don't know how y'all do your beans, but I like the white Great Northern, and I parboil them. So I'm fixing to take them off and wash them. So I'll see you in a few. Alright guys, I was cut off there, but I've got my bowl washed that I made my cornbread mix in and put my muffins in the oven, and I'm fixing to show you how I wash my beans to put them on. I've got them parboiling. They've been parboiling about 15 minutes hard. So I just set them here in the sink, and I run cold water over them. And I've got me a bowl right here. Let me get you over here where you can see. I've got me a bowl right here. I want to set these hot beans on something so they don't burn my mask. Let me pull you back a little bit so you can see. See them beans right there? Alright, and then I always wash with my hands. And I've washed this bowl out, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to run cold water in these beans. Hoping I'm trying to fix it to where you can see it. How's that? How's that? So anyway, I let all them little old bitty white ones, and you do this with pinto beans or mixed beans too. Them little old skins that come to the top, my mama always told me that they wasn't no good no way, or they wouldn't be floating to the top. So anyway, I've got these. I'm going to take the stove off. I'm trying to do 2 things at one time. So now I've got these to where I can put my hands in them. I've got me a clean bowl here, and I'm going to just, and I've already looked them, but I always look over them again. You look over them because sometimes you might find a stone, little tiny stone in them. So I always look for that. I don't know about a lot of people, but these Great Northern beans, after you parboil them, they'll cook in about 2 hours. And I always try to look at them as you put them, as you hold them in your hands like that, and then you put them down through there. I've just done it for so long, I look as I go. But you look them good. You sure don't want to bite down on no stone, but it can happen. I'm trying to get supper cooked, and I've been wanting this for quite a while, and I work tomorrow, so, and then get some kraut made before church, and church starts at 7. It's right now 3:49. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my beans up here, and I'm going to wash my kettle. Just going to rinse it out real good that I parboil my beans in. On pinto beans, that was a white foam. You'll have a dark looking, purplish looking foam that'll come up. And that's where you want to, that's just dirt, and you want to keep them good and washed and good and clean. I like parboiling them. Some people don't, but I guess that's your preference, whatever you like to do. I guess it's just how your mama brought you up to do. Alright, got my kettle cleaned now. My big old stainless steel kettle. I'm going to put my beans back in here. Looking again, making sure that I don't See a bad bean, till it put it in water. And then there might be some of those little skins, those little bean skins come up when you put water in it. I always try to get those out. Or if you see a dark bean, a bad bean, I always try to get those out. Some more of them little skins. And I don't cook my white beans fast. I get them to cook and then I cut them down and put a lid on them. Now, I like the soup to be thick in them, and if you cook them fast and put a lot of water in them, that soup ain't going to be thick. So I'm going to turn you back around this way over toward my stove. So you can see how much water I got in there. Did that get my grandson? Well, that's all right if it did. Right here, I'm going to put, I've got a big spoon that my grandmother always used. And you put this much salt in a big pot of beans. And that was one of them medium size. It's just regular salt with Morton's with iodine. One level like that in there with your water. And I always put some black pepper. And that's to your liking. And then I put some shortening. I'm going to have to go out there in my pantry and get my Crisco shortening because I don't see my Crisco. But anyway, I'll put you on hold till I get it. Alright guys, I'm back. I'm going to put these beans on and I'm going to put you back on hold just for a second. This is my butter Crisco, and that's what I like to use in my Great Northern or my pinto beans. And I just take the same spoon that I use to get my salt, and I get a big old heaping spoonful, and that should be plenty. Alright, I'll see you in a few, guys. I'm going to put my lid on here and it starts boiling. And when it starts boiling, I'm going to cut her down. So right now she's on high, so I'll see you in a few. Alright guys, I've got my beans on my back stove eye, and I'm going to get some olive oil here. Like I said, I've got my cornbread in the oven. Putting quite a bit of olive oil in there. And I've got some store-bought Kraut. And then I've got some little smokies. And if you've never tried little smokies in your Kraut, you need to try it because it's so much better. I've heard of the Italian or the smoked sausages where you cut up, and it's pretty good. But these little smokies in this sauerkraut is absolutely out of this world. And this store-bought Kraut, it's okay. It ain't as good as homemade Kraut, but it'll do, especially this Food Club. I use a lot of Food Club products. And you just put your Kraut in your skillet with your olive oil. And I'm going to taste it. Let's see if it's got salt. It's got salt. I'm going to let that cook down. And I'm going to use a wooden, because it is Kraut, you want to use a wooden or something stainless steel. You don't want to use aluminum or metal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put, we like a lot of black pepper in our Kraut and weenies. So I'm going to let that fry, get started on high there. And when that gets that Kraut juice cooked down, I'm going to put my big pack of little smokies in there. Little smokies, cocktail smokies. So I'm checking on my beans here again. I want to get them to start boiling. And I'm checking on my cornbread, and it's looking good, guys. So I'll be right with you. I want to show you this bowl of cabbage my husband's done got chopped up. So we're trying to get this chopped up and get separate cooked too. So I'll see you in a few, okay? I'll be right back. Alright guys, while that's cooking, I'm going to show you what else I've got here. So we're going to have kraut, Great Northern beans, cornbread muffins. Well, kraut with a little smoky. And I've got some of these basket and bushel red potatoes. So I'm going to put 2 or 3 in this kettle. I'm going to put some water in it and I'm going to boil them. And then I'm going to fry them. Always wash them good. Make sure if there's a spot, and there's a spot in that one. You always check the spot. You always check the spot out. Make sure you wash them good. I love these little red potatoes. Boiled so they get about half tender. When they're about half tender, you take them out and cut them in half. Well, I could go ahead and cut them in half now. And then you put them in a skillet. Another little spot on that one. You put them in a skillet with some shortening, butter shortening, or you can use olive oil. And you fry them till they're brown on each side. And buddy, they are delicious with a little dab of butter on them. They are delicious. I'll have to take some pictures of some plates before I put this on there so y'all can see before we eat it how good it is. I'll leave that one cold. I'm looking over at the stove. I see my kraut trying to get hot there and boil. I just love that kraut and them smokies. They're just good, guys. You have to try it. You just wouldn't believe how good they are. Kraut and wieners is good. Kraut and that smoked sausage is good. But these little kraut and these little cocktail smokies, they are so good. Let me tell you. All right, I think that's going to be enough. And I'm going to put some water in that. And I'm going to put them on the back stove by to cook. So they get about half done. And then I'm going to take them out and put them in a skillet with some shortening or olive oil. You want to make sure that your potatoes are covered with water so that they all get tender. So you sort of need a deep kettle for that. See there, we've got over top of the you want them over top of the potatoes. Okay, I'll see you in a few. All right, guys, I wanted you to see my white beans are boiling. So I'm going to cut them down. I'm going to cut them down about medium and let them just sit there. In about 2 hours, they're going to be done. And I put that spoon in there. I pocket lead, and then I put me a wooden spoon to keep them from blowing over. So there we go. And then here's my kraut. It's coming alive right here. I want to get all that water, that kraut juice cooked out of that. And then back there's my potatoes. And I'm fixing to take my cornbread muffins out of the oven. You can hear my husband still chopping over there. He's chopping up the fog. Just chopping up the fog. He's working on that stuff. So I want to show you my cornbread muffins. And I seem to do better with muffins than we do skillet cornbread or in a pan, because that way, if they don't eat them, I can put them in a Ziploc bag and save them. I can put them in the refrigerator and the microwave, and they'll save for about a week. So that way, if he gets hungry and wants a piece of cornbread with milk, he can have that. So I'm going to put you on hold, and I'll be back in a few, okay? Hey guys, I wanted to show you my cornbread. Whenever I get my cornbread out of the oven, I always lay it, and then I put me a hand towel over it. And that holds that steam in and makes that cornbread, keeps it real soft, guys. Keeps it soft. There you go, you can see it. So it'll be good and soft time I get the rest of this stuff cooked. Alright, I'll see you in a few. Alright, the juice is just about cooked out of my kraut. There's a little bit in there, but I'm going to go ahead and open these, and I'm going to put this whole pack in there, and this is a 24-ounce pack. Because like I said, I love these things, especially in kraut. Like I said, store-bought kraut ain't as good as homemade, but I'd run out of homemade. So, if you run out of homemade, you got to make some more, and that's what we're trying to do. I'm going to put this whole pack in there. Alright. Alright, so then you just stir that up. And you let it continue to cook. And then you'll hear it start sizzling a little bit. And that's going to be, I've still got it on high, guys, because that's a lot of kraut and wieners in there. Don't that look good? Oh man, it's good. So, alright, so we're going to let that sit there and simmer. And my potatoes are trying to boil. I've got my beans boiling. I'm hoping they're going to get done. It's right now 4 o'clock. They'll probably be done about 6. That'll give us time maybe to eat supper before we go to church at 7. So, I'll see you in a little bit, okay? I want you to see them kraut and wieners there. I'm going to cut them down on just about a simmer. My potatoes are still boiling. My beans are still cooking. Alright, so I'll see you in a few, guys. Alright, folks, my potatoes are halfway done. I'm going to cut them off. I'll put them over here to the side. I'm still letting my beans cook. We're about ready to get that kraut started canning. I'm thinking about putting some Crisco butter. I'm thinking about putting some Crisco butter in this skillet for these little red potatoes. What do you think about that, guys? You think that'd be good? So what I'm going to do is put this quite a bit. Make sure you're on here. Okay. So then I'm going to, alright, hold on just 1 second, guys. Alright, guys. So what we're going to do, I'm going to cut that stove eye down. And I'm going to take these potatoes. Put that off for a minute. I had to run in water and I didn't cut the stove eye off. You just take those red potatoes after they're cooked about halfway, and you put them in that skillet with some Crisco or olive oil, whatever you prefer, or canola oil, whatever you use. I prefer the Crisco butter. That's called me. Hey guys, I'm sorry about that. Whenever you get a phone call, it cuts it off. But anyway, I was putting these potatoes in this skillet here. And you might have to cut it, if you got your oil good and hot, you might have to cut it off until you get your potatoes in there. And then you can cut it back on. Because it's the water off the potatoes that makes it hot and crack and go on. And it'll burn you too, let me tell you. I've got all kinds of scars on my arms and hands where I've been burnt. Alright, so there we go on that, and then I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way. And then you turn your stove back on, put them on about a medium, and then you're going to salt them to your taste. And when you put these in a plate, you just cut them open and put you a big old dab of butter on there. And honey, they are so good. You want to get a little bit of crispy on the outside of these potatoes. That crispy is what makes them good. I'll get you a close-up here so you can see. See the black pepper on them? Alright, and you can see our kraut sitting right there, and we're still letting our beans cook. We've got them on medium, and you can see they're still boiling. So we're going to let them cook. They've got about another hour, and then they'll be done, and then this will be done. But in the meantime, guys, we're going to go ahead and start. I'm going to show you how we fill these jars up here in just a few minutes and get our kraut started, all right? So I'll see you in a little bit. All right, guys, I'm back, and while supper's finished cooking, we're going to start putting some of this kraut in the jars. I'm letting them potatoes fry and those beans cook a little bit more. So you got your big old bowl here, and you just take your jar, make sure your jars are still, these are still hot. And I just take it, we're going to use this one first, and I just take it and try to put it as much as I can. And then I've got some hot pepper too that I'm going to put in some of it. I hope you're seeing this, guys. Let me get that out of the way there. It's not a clean job, let me tell you. You got to clean your floor and your bars good after you get this done. And the thing about these jars, you need to wash them off. When I get the salt and stuff in there and get my hot water, my water and my vinegar, I'll take a wet paper towel and wipe these jars off. And then when I get a lid on them, I'll set them in the sink. Packing this down in here pretty good. You can see me packing that down in there. So we want to leave a little bit of head space so they'll work off. Okay. There's one of them. We're going to take another clean jar. We're going to start again. My husband done a fine job on chopping this kraut, didn't he? He got it pretty and fine. That always seems like it makes the best. Gary, I don't know if he does as good as you. You'll have to watch a video and tell me, so I don't know. So he went outside a minute. He's going to be back here in just a minute. And I'm going to let him help me put the salt and the hot liquid in. See, this is why you set it down in a big bowl, because you're not going to hit that hole just exactly right every time. Most people just put it down in the kraut and fill it up. That's probably what I'll do with this next bowl. Push it down in there. I believe my potatoes, I can smell them. I believe they're getting crispy on that one side. There's that. I'm going to throw that in there. I have to get some more jars too. So this is the way I'm sort of used to doing it, like this right here. And like I said, you wash your hands really, really good. Make sure your jars are really good and sterilized. I wash mine and then I run them through the hottest cycle on the dishwasher that they could go. Let me get some more jars. Hold on a second, guys. I'm going to check my potatoes too, guys. Just hold on a second. I'll bring you back over here and let you watch me turn them. So, it's going to be a good video, and it's got a lot of stuff in it. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn these gently. where I've had them on here cooking, and they got that good crispy sear on them. Oh my goodness, youngins, that's what makes that good. And this is, you just let them sit here and fry. Now you don't want them fried till they're burnt. You know, you want to get a good brown crisp on them. Hoping you can see that there. That's beautiful. And then when we get this other side good and crispy, we'll just turn them off, put a lid on them, leave them on simmer till we get our beans cooked, and then everything will be ready to cook, and then we'll sit down and eat our supper. But I'll try to take some pictures too before we get into it. So I wanted you to see the process on that, and you can add a little more black pepper, or if you, I'm not going to add any more salt, because you can always add a little more salt to them once they're in your plate. So I just wanted you to see that, and check my beans while I'm over here. They're coming along nicely. They're feeling like they're getting tender now, and that's my potatoes once they're turned over. So I'm going to take you back over here with me, and then we're going to finish doing some more kraut. Let me wash my hands again. You got to make sure your hands are clean. Or either get you a pair of latex gloves, and even with the latex gloves, you've got to wash those gloves off. So we're going to start filling another one here. Now Gary Watts, I bet ain't no telling how many cans of kraut he's made, and tomato juice, and canned tomatoes, and green beans. Now he's a canner, let me tell you. Him and his wife Jessie, they love to can, and they do some pretty stuff too. Now I've got one or two hot pepper pods that I'm gonna stick down in here too, and one or two of them, not all of them. But I'm going to have one or two that's going to have a little bit of tinge to it, a little bit of hot. Like I said, you get all your cabbage washed, all the old leaves cut off of it, and you wash it, and you cut it, to take you a butcher knife or a good strong knife, and cut it all off except for the core. You cut it down to the core, and then you can either, some people trim that core up and put it inside there. I like them like that myself, but we just didn't do it. We didn't take the time. So there's another. So that's 2, 4, 6, and we'll try another here. Hopefully I'll have close to a dozen. I bought 10 heads, but we only done 8. And like I said, you keep pushing it down in there. You don't want to pack. You want to give it some room to work, because this will start. When I say work off, it means that it'll start bubbling, it'll start souring, it'll sour, and then it will be sour. So that's what makes your sauerkraut. Let me set that one right there, and I'm going to get my lice bowl over here. Now, all people from the South, just about it, if you're born and raised here, you know how to make sauerkraut. I got me some cannon salt. And then you have to put you on a 1.5 gallons of Gary's recipe, a 1.5 gallons of water in a stainless steel pot, and I want to say a cup of white distilled vinegar, and then you want to get it coming to a boil, and then you cut it off, and then you let it. Let me move these out of the way. You let it cool off a little before you put it in the jars. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Alright, I'm going to cut you guys off and finish this, and then when I get ready to put my salt in there and get my brine boiling, I'll cut you back on. I'll just go ahead and fill these other 2 jars while you're on there. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Looks like I'm going to have 12 or a little more out of 8 big heads of cabbage. Just want you to see how you can do it, and you keep pushing it down in there. Just remember at the top you want to give it some headroom, because it will start swelling up, and if it swells up it'll blow the lids off of it, let me tell you. And then you don't want that, because then your kraut's ruined. Looks like I'm going to have about 14 quarts, guys. That's good out of 8 heads. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and cut you off and finish filling these other 2 jars up, and then I'll cut you back on, okay? Guys, I want to show you this process of where I'm going to wrench these jars off before I put my salt and my brine in them. So what I'm going to do is just turn my jar sideways, and then I'm going to take a napkin, and I'm going to make sure, a wet napkin, and make sure that's off where that ring will go. And I'm going to set it right there, because you don't want that mess on there. I ended up with 14 jars. Like a little something in that jar. I don't want that in there. Alright. Got that. You have to make sure there ain't no cabbage on the outside where your ring goes and your lid, because it won't work right. It just will not cure. And then what I do is I take a napkin, and then I go all the way around like that right there. And that's before I put my salt and my brine in there. So, show you a few more. You just have to turn it sideways, because the way I do mine, when I put mine down in that cabbage, you can't help but to get it on the jar. Unless you've got some other way of doing it. And I'll go back over these again and make sure I got that rim good and clean. Alright guys, we're going to do 1 tablespoon of canning salt in each quart jar. That's 1 level tablespoon. And then I'm going to put my water and vinegar on the boil. And some of these have got a pot of hot pepper and some of them don't. Alright, we got all that. So I got my kettle clean here. It's a gallon of water, gallon and a half of water. So this is 4 cups. That's 8 cups of water, and then it's a gallon and a half, so it'll be 2 more cups. And then 1 cup of white vinegar. So we want to do 1 cup. Alright, from what my husband's cousin is saying, we put this on there with a wooden spoon and stir it till it boils. So that's what we're going to do now. Alright. While that water and vinegar is getting ready to boil, I'm going to go ahead and put my leads in here and let them start boiling, because you want your leads sterilized and want them good and hot. So I bought some new leads with rings. You can always reuse your old rings. So there's 12 in here, I believe. Yeah, 12. And so I'm going to need, I've got 14, I'm going to need 2 out of this one. Alright. So I'm going to put them on another eye, and I'm going to let them start boiling, and then I'll take the tongs and get them out as I use them. But we're not going to tighten them up for about 30 days. I believe that's what he said his recipe called for. You just hand tie them, and then in 30 days you tighten them up real tight. Alright, so we've got that ready. So the leads are boiling and the vinegar and water is boiling. Alright guys, this vinegar and water is at a rolling boil. I've started with my wooden spoon. I'm fixing to move it over here on this towel. And I'm going to turn you back around here. I've got my cabbage jars sitting in the bottom of my sink. So I'm going to set this right here. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. See if I can set you right back here a little bit. Alright. So, let me see. Can you see better right there? Because I've got my kraut jar right here. I'm going to take my measuring cup, and I'm going to go ahead and let me get my lids. Got my lids right here and my tongs. And I'm going to be wiping that off too. this off. Take my tongs and get my hot lids. And it says just a hand tighten. So that just means you just tighten it like it right there, not nothing real tight. Or get another jar. Do the same process. You want your legs good and hot so they'll seal. And then from what I understand, Gary said you put them in a dark place, don't move them, don't mess with them for 30 days, and then you can retighten them. A cool, dark place, so I'm going to put them down in my basement. And I've got a little pantry down there for canned goods. And then I can put the date on the jar, on the lid too. And you just barely want it to cover the kraut, the cabbage. Don't tighten them on that. Now I want to get pictures of Gary and Jack. I don't want them hid, so I'll take a picture so Gary can see them. Looks like I might have to make some more. I know I'll probably have to make some more brine. Don't look like I'm gonna have enough. And I'm going to have to make some more brine, guys. But anyway, you got an idea of how you do this. I'll take some pictures once I've got them all done and put on there. Alright, I'll see you soon, guys, when I get some more brine made. I'll probably just show you the finished product, okay? I thank you all. This is Sheila E. from Tennessee. Always smile, because smiles are contagious. Always remember to give God glory, thanks, and praise, and for all He does for us. And always be thankful for what we have. Alright, I'll see you.